Pro Division in the country on GT Sport are all here today at what looks like a sunny Brands Hatch. We've had some rain in the Pro Series lately, so we're going to have to wait and see if that holds out there and if the sun holds out there. Of course, today is brought to you by Mercedes-Benz and ATK and powered by Motorsport South Africa, Kyle Army 9 Hour, and now also Coach Dave Academy. This, of course, is Brands Hatch, the iconic circuit in the UK. And these drivers will be vying for top spots here at the big GP circuit. A circuit with many, many twists, uphills, downhills, and everything in between. And I think a circuit that my co-commentator will enjoy as well. Of course, I'm joined by Marius today. As usual, Marius, is this the kind of circuit that you approve of?
Come on, of course. Look how much fun we had last week at Alton Park, and I'm glad that we've gone back and we're sticking with British. I mean, this past weekend I was in East London for the SA Endurance Series, and there are so many similarities with these old iconic circuits where there is no runoff, there's no exceeding track limits because, well, the track limit is grass, so you're going to get yourself punished. So I think the guys are going to be happy that we don't have rain, because I know there was carnage for us with the Assetto Corsa around last week, but I think they're going to have their hands full in the Red Pig. What a special car. And I know you and I have said many times that's what we've really been enjoying about having GT Sport involved in this. Obviously great for Mercedes-Benz as a sponsor, but we get to showcase entire range of their products essentially over all the generations, and this one going back to 71, and literally this is where AMG was born, you know. So how they made a race car out of that amazes me, because everything is wrong. It's too big, it's too heavy, but boy did it go. So I want to see how they handle it today, because I think it's going to be a handful around a track with no runoff, lots of off-camber corners, but I'm sure Stephen can tell us a bit more, because I bet he's done a couple of laps in the Red Pig around Brands Hatch.
Thanks guys, good evening to everyone. The Red Pig's quite a challenge, as the name suggests. It's not the most modern and up-to-date handling car. It's I find it as a average driver, definitely not a pool one or Division 1 guy. I battle with this car. It slides all over the place, and I think if I had to be going into Paddock Hill Bend or Druids, I'd probably be right at the back in the gravel trap on lap 1. So it's going to be interesting to watch these guys go for it.
Well, we're going to see a bunch of these guys go into Paddock Hill Bend at the same time. A rolling start is what will be happening today. And this car, the Red Pig, as they say, it is quite a pig to drive. I was watching the guys in practice, and that 422 horsepower seems a bit of a handful, Marius.
Yeah, it's actually insane. I mean, I think anybody that hasn't heard of the car should go and just do a bit of research and read up on it, because for me, the whole design of it is actually so crazy, you know, and how you can make a car go fast purely out of commitment, throwing as much horsepower into it, taking the engine from the 600 and dumping it into the 300, and they ended up with this car that won in class and finished second at the Spa 24 Hour. You know, everything else at the time were tiny little cars. So when you get to a circuit like this, it's going to be very interesting, because I suppose the closest thing we have is everyone talks about the Bentley being a boat and how much space it takes up on a circuit. But now you can imagine in those days it must have been hilarious racing your little Minis or your Lotuses, and this guy rocks up in this oil tanker, you know. So it really, for me, is actually quite special. I'm glad that with the series we get to see cars like that. But it was quite interesting. I chatted to Carl Westhuizen over the last couple of weeks, and him and I were just bantering a little bit, and he was giving me some really cool insight, because as we know, without Stephen helping us along here, this is all new for us, Ernest. And he was just saying, like, listen, the interesting bit he thinks in this race is going to be, what do the guys do? Do they take new tires on when they do their one stop? Because he felt it was going to be a one stop race, and obviously the adding tires is going to add some time to the stop, probably like 4 seconds, he was saying, but the benefit of having fresh rubber at the end could be quite crucial. And
especially in a car like this.
Yeah, what Stephen is saying is like it's sideways, it lights up the rear. So tire wear, and I think managing that is going to be a real challenge.
Oh, wow. And so these guys are going to have to keep it tidy while at the same time try and go as fast as possible as our Pro Division groupings come up. And some new names over there. And someone that I've got to mention him, he's a personal friend of mine, Damien Purchase, manages to sneak into the top 13 there. So he's one of the new guys on the grid. So welcome, Damien, to the Pro Division, Division 1. But also some familiar names over there. Our previous winner, Dino, or Dino K, DMR Dino over there in first position. He was our previous winner from the last round.
That we never saw.
That we never saw. And let's hope today is not one of those days as well. Let's hope that Gran Turismo gods are smiling down upon us and we can make sure that that does not happen again. We've got Deacon there in second position. And someone that you've spoken to, Kyle Oosthuizen. So you got the DMR guys and the RTA guys. The RTA guys and DMR guys seem to be the guys to beat with KLM and Gualtieri Lorenzo, our hill climb winner from a couple of weeks ago. Of course, he won the hill climb on Assetto Corsa. Also, just the cat in the pigeons there, sort of trying to split up these teams. Stephen, from your side, do you think the team orders are now starting to come into play?
No, not so much. Just on Lorenzo, I believe after winning the hill climb, he's actually withdrawn. So he's still showing on the list here, but for the next round, it would obviously promote an extra Division 2 driver up. So he's qualified for the finals via winning the hill climb, the virtual hill climb. So he's pulling out of this stage of the competition. So you'll meet the guys down in Cape Town for the finals. Team-wise, obviously on things like possibly drafting and qualifying, I know for seeding it was frowned upon, but for qualifying you might see the guys drafting each other on some of the straights. And I think we saw it on the last round with Carl and Deaky.
Yes.
If you get a chance and you can bump draft or follow your teammate and pull away from the pack, obviously that's going to be something that anyone would work together to do, even non-teammates. You might see someone like Kalen and Safa, for example. If they're close together, it's that old MotoGP, the 1-5 class where the guys used to pat on the back of the seat and tell the guy to follow him. So that kind of situation. But then obviously, if it comes for positions at the end of the day, I think they'll all give it a go. They're not going to move over this early on in the competition.
Well, this is a championship and there's everything to play for here. And, although there are team championship standings as well, this, of course, is what it's all about. This is the individual championship standings. You've got Dino K there on the top of the podium with a perfect record there with 1,000 points and Deacon Peterson in second. It's Marius, it's looking very tight and very close at the top of the standings there.
Yeah, well, it's been quite cool, just chatting with the guys as well, and we're trying to learn as much as we can about how they operate here. It seems like they do, in a way, have team orders, and literally the team order is, let's not take each other out, and that's what Carl was saying, him and Deacon were doing at the last round, is just, dude, let's run, let's keep it neat and tidy, and essentially, when it gets to Cape Town, it is gloves off. So that's why we were fascinated that it always looked like there were opportunities to take, to pass, but there was like, you leading, let's just kind of work together through this. So quite interesting to see it. That's how the guys are operating, because I think the main thing is to qualify and it's almost like save yourself. It's sandbagging in a way now, clock up as many points as you can. But yeah, listen, I mean, I think Dean's going to obviously want to keep his unbeaten run, and not to be the commentator that's ditching curses, because normally that's you, Ernest.
Yeah, that's apparently.
Yeah. But I mean, you can imagine you go and have this clean run through everything, and then you go and screw it up in Cape Town, and those sort of things can happen. So I find it quite cool that Lorenzo's saying, "Listen, I've qualified. Let's give someone else a chance." But I know for me, I'd want to be running. I'd want to be sussing out the guys and getting a feel for it.
I'm very surprised to hear that Lorenzo's not with us at the moment, especially since his fantastic performance at the hill climb. He showed exceptional composure there and coolness to take the eventual win. And now we're not going to see him. But also at the same time, Marius, could this be some sort of strategy to not show his hand, to be the dark horse that arrives there without, because these guys are going to assess each other over the course of the season. And he's now taking himself out to the assessment.
It's a great question. I'd like to bring Stephen in there as well. I mean, do the guys know what they are running in the finals, and have they got all that information already?
For the finals, I'm actually also still in the dark, waiting to hear how the top 10 from each championship is going to be taking each other on. But just on a point that you're making just now, I'm like Lorenzo not showing his cards. You also have guys like Dino. You're going to want to win and get the bragging rights. So there's showing the cards, but you also want to have that number one contender going into the finals.
100%. Give me the confidence, man.
Exactly. That's it. I was exactly going to say that word. Confidence is what it's all about. But we'll be right back after the break to see who's got the most confidence going into qualifying. We'll see you guys after these ads. The Mercedes-Benz badge coming into view there, and as the guys go around Druids down the hill for the first time, this is qualifying, ladies and gentlemen, and we are at Brands Hatch, the iconic circuit in the UK, and look at all the road these guys are using, Marius. They are taking the car curb to curb, and I think with the big beast over here, with Big Betty over here, the red pig, they might have to use as much track as possible.
But it's just, I must admit, I do love the in-game graphics here, that little glint, that glint of the sun off the grill, and it is a massive grill. It really is proper. But I mean, you think there how much space that car is taking up, and it is a narrow circuit. And I think just having that commitment, getting the rear out and knowing you literally put a wheel on the grass here and you are in trouble. But have a look. I mean, the guys literally are on it. And we mentioned this before, Ernest. Like, some guys are using thumbs. Some guys are sitting with wheels, and that for me is just legendary. I wouldn't want to know how you're controlling a big slide with your thumbs. But anyway, respect to the guys that are racing like that. This is going to be, I think, one of our most exciting races because the nature of this car, because it is not easy to drive. So you can't just sit lap after lap throwing in those laps. And like we heard earlier, there's going to be some serious tire wear as well. So I think we're going to be treated to a damn good GT Sport race tonight.
Serious tire wear indeed, because of the way this car moves. You're on board with TSDJM over there, and going up the hill now for the first time. Is he in third gear through this right-hander? Third gear, that's quite high considering.
It's only got four gears. So the guys are saying literally they're only going to use first and second gear probably on the rolling start and never again. So it looks like third gear is going to be the go-to gear. So that's also, you start realizing just how much grunt you're dealing with. Listen, if you miss a gear, you're an idiot, because I mean there are only four to choose from.
Well, Jean de Jager over there in the rusted old Mercedes-Benz yellow pig over there this time. And I quite like that livery on a car like this, because it looks like the car's kind of been a bit of a barn find, and he's now trying to push this thing around the circuit. Just straight out of the barn. The pace car over there, KLM Pace over there, that's always a good looking car. I mean, the KLM Pace cars really do look good. That's Kalen Mauer in fourth position at the moment, 0.5 of a second down from the leaders, so half a second in it on quite a big long circuit. Oh, runs wide there, and I think we're going to see a lot of that, Marius. I checked in practice, these guys were all over the place, some of them. So I do think we're going to see big oversteer moments as DKP in first place. A familiar spot for him, but Dino might have something to say about that in the next couple of corners.
Yeah, I'm quite interested to find out what, and Stephen can help us here. Again, track limits. I mean, the game will obviously dish out a penalty, I'm assuming. It must be quite tricky around here, keeping it on the black stuff.
Automatic time penalties for track limits.
And it's very strict on the settings by the looks of things.
Yeah, so Brands isn't too bad though, because there aren't too many places you can actually cut and make time. You can run wide on the outside.
So it doesn't penalize you for that, which is cool, because you're obviously not gaining an advantage. You're just trying to stay alive.
Correct. So, I mean, if he turned in to the left-hand corner and cut it and went over the grass, you'd see a 1 second track limits penalty pop up.
Yeah.
But generally, if they're running wide on the outside, it shouldn't be a problem. Just on Deaky, I'm actually not too sure. My RTA teammate, one of our other guards, was kind enough to assist him with a used G29 wheel, which I know he has started using, but I don't know if he's actually racing with it yet or if he's still in control.
So DKP has been on the controller all this time. I'm blown away every time I hear that.
Yeah, he's actually leading our current GTSA season.
It's squirrely there, does DKP?
Yeah, he was leading the first season of the year as well, until he had a couple of internet issues that caused him to drop a couple of pools. But yeah, definitely a guy to watch, especially once he gets used to a wheel.
Yeah, but I mean, that's the thing. I'm sure it's going to take a while, because you're so used to getting your thumbs to do magic. So it must be quite strange to come to grips with a wheel. But like Ernest was saying, it's incredible, just the level of car control, and you really do get to see it here and show it off, because you've got to be so smooth on that transition to control those slides, so it really is impressive. But look how close it is. I mean, this was like nearly 0.2, just under 0.2 between Deacon and DMR Dino there. So this for me is super exciting, and I've probably gone and given that little curse where I said to him, I'm sure he's going to want to go and win every single one of it. Look at that. I mean, there's literally nothing to choose from. So we're heading all the way down to 9th. So our top 9 are all in basically the same time, literally, all within a second. It's incredible.
It's incredible. Just look at that, 34s, 35s. The guys are saying they expect between 33s and 35 seconds today, and more than likely 34s, 35s for the race. They are running on racing hard tires, so that's the tire limitation that's been put in place, and these guys are all having to stick to those tire limitations. As we look at, I think that is Stephen over there in the DMR car, the yellow car, running very wide. There are 2 wheels on the dirt. And that's Dino there in the yellow car. And 2 wheels on the dirt. Dino currently in second position, as you said, 0.2 of a second down with TSMDJ. That is, if I look at my little cheat sheet.
That's Juan de Jong.
Third place. Well done for him for bumping up the order as Pilgrim's Drop gets dispatched by Dino.
Yeah, Jean Diago was sitting right up at the top, and Deaky obviously came in and upset the apple cart there. So these are the names that we've mentioned many times. So I mean, in the last 2 rounds, they've been the guys that have been playing right up at the top. It'll be interesting to see. It's obviously one of the frustrations that we don't get to see further down. I mean, we've got 12 guys running. It'd be nice to see all 12 names so we know who's who in the zoo. But have a look there, 1st to 5th, and we're looking at 0.4 off, which is nothing. 0.8 off for our top 10. Thanks for our director helping us with that. So your mate is at the back in 12th, but it must be quite a big step up, though, I imagine, getting to the pro division. We see it with pro-ams and the jump to pro. It is significant. I mean, these guys are the best at what they do.
I think he's happy to be here. I know he said that was a personal goal of his, David Purchase. He mentioned that, he's in this championship, he's enjoying it, he's having fun, but at the same time, he wants to start mixing it with the big boys. And his last lap over there wasn't too bad, 35.2 by the looks of things.
Yeah.
So not too shabby a lap time, though, but, the fast guys are doing 34s, so he's 0.9 of a second down, or actually 1.1 seconds down. But that's all it takes. In this space, we've got 30 seconds of qualifying left, so it looks like things are going to stay as they are. And
unless Dino's got something to say about it, I don't think he's going to be happy in second position. Maybe he wants a bit of a challenge, but it'll be interesting to see how this all pans out. Yeah, it's super close.
So far, DKP is in first place. This will be his first pole, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Could this be his win? It stays this way. KLM Pace crosses the line in 7th position. That is it from us, folks. We'll see you after the break. we are back at Brands Hatch as the boys make their way down through the first corner now into Druids Bend. What a circuit this is. So far, the order seems to be the same. But DKP, our pole sitter, now in first position for the very first time. Dino behind him and on screen, thankfully, as Juan de Jager back up the order is in third position. So that's a good performance from Juan de Jager so far. Your friend over there, Kyle Oosthuizen, in fourth place, running well there, Marius. Any more info from Kyle that you can dispatch? I mean, he's in fourth place here, so he's in it with a shot.
Yeah, he was just, I mean, like I said earlier, his big thing was he reckons pit stop probably between lap 10 and 12, maybe pushing to 15. Reckons they'll probably do about 25 laps in the race, but I think that's a strategy for us to watch to see if anybody's going to gamble with not changing tires and saving some time in the pit stop, but then having to really manhandle a car. Look, I mean, I suppose that's why they've gone with a hard compound as well, Stephen, because I imagine running this thing on soft is going to be great for the first 3 or 4 laps, and then you're going to be on canvas.
Caleb Pace running wide there. Caleb Pace running wide with Taylor just behind him, having a look there. Stephen, your thoughts on what do you think is going to happen over the next coming laps?
Well, just to start with the hard tires in Gran Turismo Sport, they do have a warm-up time, normally about a lap to a lap and a half. It's not quite as technical as ACC, but when you do jump on the hards off a grid start or rolling start, you normally feel a bit slippery for a lap or two.
Okay.
The other thing to consider is passing places on this track being an old style circuit with very narrow track and wide cars. I think places like Druids are overtaking opportunities.
Definitely up the hill.
Yeah, the rest of the track's pretty tricky. Maybe.
Oh, he has a look down the inside of Stefan Mock over there. Stefan Mock gets a nudge there. Bit of a nudge, but manages to keep the position. Well done to Stefan there in front. And as we're just talking about overtaking, the action continues here. Look at this bumper cam as we go on board fourth gear, 200 k's an hour into the right-hander now. That's Westfield. They're going to go through Dingle Dal now, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, that was Hawthorne, sorry. First, then the Derrick Straight, and now Westfield. Dingle Dal over the bump there. That's where the cars used to get airborne in the touring car days, Marius.
Yeah, but listen, I mean, I'm loving it. Check how much that car is moving. And that's what's also nice, you know, when you do lean on a car that weighs 1.6 tons, it doesn't really go anywhere. You know, it's not like you're tapping something lightweight, but the guys certainly are working hard. I also think a good place for overtaking would be the slowest corner on the circuit, which is turn 2. So, you know, getting this thing stopped and turned is not going to be that easy. So I think there's always going to be an opportunity there. And with these type of cars, I think, you know, we've seen before with Gran Turismo Sport, there's big benefits for slipstreaming, but not on a circuit like this, because it's not that type of track. You know, you're always changing direction, you're up and down, and you're flowing. So I think there isn't that much benefit. Stephen, I might be wrong, but just looking at the layout of the circuit, I don't think there's going to be much slipstream benefit today.
Yeah, the straights aren't that long, and down your from Surtees down to Hawthorns, there's a chance, but if you defend on the inside, those two right-handers, Hawthorns and Westfield, you don't want to be on the outside there, because you more than likely end up.
Somebody, I think an overtake maneuver just took place there. I think that was Safa and SMP. Oh, bit of a nudge. They're side by side. They're going into the right-hander now. The yellow car's got the position, but
he's got the inside.
He's got the inside. He's got a chance to throw. Down the inside he goes. This is side by side. He has to keep up the move.
Wow, that is brilliant racing. I actually thought he had it because he had the inside. You actually saw him do the little swapperoo. The lap before, he was on the inside and made contact. This time he got himself lined up correctly, so he had to run it at the next corner, but didn't quite pan out. But this is what I thought we were going to see today, is real good racing, because you're not dealing with a traditional race car. So these guys are going proper old school. And Ernest, I know you've probably spent some time. I mean, I've raced a couple of historic cars, and everything about them is just so cool, because nothing works like the cars we used to today, you know, and you actually have to drive the bloody things, and
There's
you
no
also
power
learn
steering here. There's no power steering.
and you also learn to drive around the problem. You know, whereas I think you go and put the new generation kids in these type of cars, they wouldn't know what the hell to bloody do, because it's just not perfect. But that is what makes a race car, the fact that it's not perfect. I love it.
Well, KLM Pace putting on a little bit of pressure there as we go back on with Jean de Jager, who's now in third place, chasing down second and first. And Jean de Jager really making a move for it now. He's right behind second position man. But I think further back, Stefan Mocker now is going to be getting a little bit of pressure. Stefan Mocker is going to be getting a little bit of pressure after he lost out that position early on. But the battle for the top three, the guys are nose to tail at the moment.
Yeah. They broke away quite nicely, so I think that's why Kyle Oosthuizen and Mr. Safa had to get through there
Quickly.
You can see he's starting to pull away from the little group behind him, and hopefully, for his sake, he can get onto the top three before they're too far ahead.
I think sorry, and so that's what can easily happen here. You know what it's like the minute you start getting into a ding dong dog fight. It's so hard to get your rhythm because you're picking different lines, you're going defensive, so. Yeah, so it's very cool. I think what you've said there for Carl, just to now have a bit of breathing space, was crucial. And we've still got over 30 minutes to go in the race, plenty of time. And like Carl predicted, there's going to be this big moment come pit stops. Who's going to do what? So I'm really intrigued to see how this is still going to pan out. He certainly is closing that gap down. So it'll be interesting to see in 2 or 3 laps. I think he should be right on the back of Juan de Jager.
KLM Pace having a close look there. And KLM Pace, I mean, that onboard shot, if we can go back to that, KLM chasing down Taylor just in front of him. And now gets right up on the back of him into Druids there. Down now through Graham Hill. They go, KLM Pace all over the back of Taylor. And just look at that. Taylor's car squirming, Marius. I know you're enjoying this. Look at the dirt.
Oh, it's amazing.
As they exit sideways. Oh, he goes down the inside, gets a bit of a twitch there. And he's now trying to have a look at Taylor. But I think he made a bit of a mistake. And just look at that. That tiny mistake. He's lost momentum now. And as he shifts up into fourth gear. But I do think the slipstream is quite strong. And if you within striking distance, as we've seen, I think KLM is going to once again catch up to the back of Taylor and then try and make that move stick if he can.
Yeah, I mean, when last have you watched any motor car on track that's moving around as much as this car? And it's pure science, really. When you've got so much weight, I mean, to try and get it to do what you need it to do. Plus, you've gone and jammed in so much horsepower into the thing. I mean, the twitch that you see there is purely, it's just shifting weight around. It's unbelievable to watch. It's really good.
Perfect drift there by KLM. And just even talking about it, 422 horsepower, trying to put 422 horsepower down on the ground.
I mean, this car back in 71, I mean, I think it was the quickest sedan of its time. It was doing 0 to 100, I think like 6.1 or 6.2 seconds, which is it's crazy. I mean, it really is. But yeah, I'm super stoked. It's good to see stuff like this again, you know.
Fantastic to see stuff like this. And we're seeing some good racing now taking place here as we go on board there with third place man. That is
Juan de Jager.
And first place now seems to be sneaking away a little bit by the looks of things. And Dino having to settle for second place for the first time in a while. DKP getting a bit of a lead there. Or easy. Let's see. It's still plenty of action to go.
What I see here, which is quite interesting, and I'm just going on what Carl was saying, is that I'm assuming that Dino and Jean are gonna play along here. They're not going to take each other out. They're running as teammates, and I think they're going to work together. So I don't think that Dean needs to worry. His teammates got his back, and what they're obviously trying to do is protect each other and make sure that Carl doesn't get onto the back of them, because leading the race is Carl's teammate. So it's going to be quite interesting to see how this plays out. But I don't think these guys are looking to fall over each other at this point.
Well, we're looking at the battle here. Stephen Mock there in I think that's in 5th position. Right behind him we got Taylor in 6th position, and then behind that KLM Pace. KLM Pace, one of the fan favorites, Kalen Mawa in that car. He's of course the guy that pulled off that mega overtake a couple of weeks ago, and I think we can expect to see the same. He's not going to give up, and I'm sure with 4th position within striking distance, he's going to push for it and try and make the most of it as they go through turn 1, that steep downhill. I've been to the circuit before, and that downhill, the pictures don't do it justice. It really is a incredibly steep downhill. The cars drop elevation as they hit that corner, and now we're on board with Dino in 2nd position as we go now down the straight over there. That, of course, is the Cooper Straight into Surtees, and now onto the longest section of the circuit where it's so difficult to get that overtaking maneuver here, but it is the longest straight. And like you said, Marius, not that much slipstreaming going to be going on here today.
Yeah, I think what you've got to rely on is coming out of Surtees for somebody to get on the power too early and maybe lose some traction. But it's very difficult when you've got a fairly fast-flowing corner onto the straight to make things work and to get close enough for that overtake. But you're a lucky man. I mean, I don't know if you got to drive Brands Hatch, but I mean, it'd be one of my ultimate tracks to drive. And I know, you know, having done the Nürburgring, and you see what the in-game elevation looks like, and it's significant in-game. Then when you get to the real world, you go, oh my word, no, the game doesn't do it any justice. And you can see that with Brands Hatch. There is so much up and down, and that is a real test of driver and car, because at no point are you actually resting. There's no point here where you're not sitting and working and fighting hard. So that for me is what I think sadly is lacking with so many of the circuits we go to today. So yeah, this is a real test for the drivers.
This is the top three we're looking at now, and sadly I didn't get to drive it when I was there. It was a cool experience nonetheless. I went to go check out the Indy cars. They came back to the UK.
Oh wow.
Time, yeah, for the first time. I think it was 25 years or something ridiculous, and I managed to see them there. But they used the the Indy circuit, which is the bowl, the short circuit, and the rest of the circuit was open to the public. So I actually walked the rest of Brands Hatch, and it was an incredible experience.
Were you making noises? Changing gears? I can just say I would have.
Stuck in a gear change here and there.
Just one thing to point out when we are on the onboard views, take a look on the left-hand side, bottom of the screen, and
tire wear.
Get an idea of petrol. I was looking at the tires of TSM JDJ, and with the hard tires, it hardly looked like he had anything. So I can see why they'd consider not changing and using them for the whole race.
Well, let's get our producer to show us that. Let's see. Okay, so there doesn't look like there's much damage at the moment, or much wear at the moment. Am I mistaken?
Hardly any. But we're also only a quarter of the way through.
Okay, so somebody's clattered the brake markers there. I don't know if you saw that. I thought it looked like a box of pizza lying in the middle of the road. I was like, what the hell's that? But it's the brake markers. So someone's gone farming big time. But yeah, that's quite interesting, because I think, you know, with 27 minutes to go, I would kind of look at that, Stephen, and probably go, yeah, maybe we don't bother with the change, you know?
Yeah, and then the other thing will be fuel, like Dino sitting here behind Diki. If you can save an extra 5 or 6% to fuel less, that's 2-3 seconds at the pit stop.
Yeah.
As we go on board now with our leader, Diki Pete, getting a bit of pressure there from Dino, getting a bit of pressure from the teammates, but he is in first position for the first time. 26 minutes to go of racing. Runs very wide. They get a bit twitchy, and this might allow Dean to pull up close by. As we mentioned earlier, no tire wear or not much to speak of, and also fuel looking relatively good. But who will get the advantage in the pit lane? Will they look how close they are?
I think that's the line through there. You know, I mean, watching the guys, they're literally, check it, this battle. So we were on board with this a while back, but this is getting super, super interesting. So, I mean, there's nothing to choose from. Now, again, are the teammates going to be protecting each other? So who's riding shotgun here? But it looks really, really good. Apparently, we missed an overtake with Taylor getting past S&B 3 Pro. So pity we've missed that, but great onboard action. Thanks to our producer for bringing us that.
Stefan Mocker earlier on, getting a bit of pressure there now, getting that overtake down in him by Taylor, and now he's getting some more pressure from Kalen Pace, who we know is pretty good at overtaking if the rest of the season or the previous rounds in the season was anything to go by. So let's see if he can make that move stick. We now go on board with Kalen Pace. That, of course, is Kalen Mawa in what is always one of the best looking cars. I quite like the color scheme. So Kalen Mawa now giving some pressure to SMP Pro Stefan Mocker right in front of him. Just got overtaken, so he's feeling the pressure. Here comes.
Oh, here we go. Having a look.
Down the inside. He's going to have a look down the inside. Oh, that's so close. Has to back out eventually. And just letting him know that he's there. Down the hill they go now. And once again, up on that back bumper. He's going to... Did he give him a nudge? It was very close, though. Either way, the pressure is being applied, Marius, and I think we can expect to see a move very, very soon.
Yeah, but I mean, this is really cool because it's bringing Stefan Wessels into it as well. You have a look; he's now got onto the back of KLM Pace. So you kind of watching the car in front, and then you're going, oh, I've got to watch the car behind. But it looks like Stefan made a little bit of a mistake because he's now dropped off the back again. So very easy for that to happen. But yeah, I'm loving the fact that he's looking left and right and making pretty certain that S&P Pro sees that I want to get past over here. Super hungry.
At this, Mario. The top 4 now.
Top 4.
And now we've got ourselves a 4-horse race. And look at these guys. Teammates are down the inside. Goes 4th position, man. There has a look down the inside. But the top 2 DMR guys are not going to be giving anything up for Kyle Oosthuizen in 4th position there.
No, it's amazing how quickly things change because, we didn't see this coming. We were gone for maybe a lap and a half, packing the action from 6th and 7th position, and now look at this right at the top. So I think we're going to be in for a very, very exciting run to the end because these 4 made the break pretty early on, and now it's like teams again. Who's blocking who? Oh man!
Well, at least they can see each other now.
Well, they can, but it's like I'd love to know if there are going to be any team orders where it's like, listen, I'm going to try and help you and ride shotgun and close what is a very big barn door in the shape of the red pig. It's like you've really got to make sure the door's wide open if you want to come through.
Yeah, Kyle Oosthuizen in 4th place now, on board with him. In front of him, we got John. In front of him, we got Dean. And in front of him, the leader, Deacon, for the first time, leading us off here with 23 minutes to go. Down the long straight they go. They're going to go into a very fast right-hander. Watch them catch a little bit of dirt on the inside here. Oh, 2nd place man does so. The rest of them miss the apex. They should be catching a little bit more here. Down the inside goes Kyle Oosthuizen. Has a look down the inside, but thinks better of it. And now this race has hotted up big time. The top 4 guys, everything to play for. And Marius, we don't see many mistakes from these guys, but all it's going to take is one mistake from someone in this top 4, and the whole deck will get shuffled.
Yeah, but that's the thing that's always amazed me since we've had them join the series is like how few mistakes these guys actually do make. And just having a look at this, there's a lot of work that's going on in this car. It's not a GT3 car that stops and turns perfectly. So I'm really impressed at their ability to soak up pressure, to be 11th tenths, because they are literally using every inch of Brands Hatch, getting it sideways, and look at that. Carl is
Carl's going down the inside.
Pressure.
Carl's trying to go down the inside, has a look, and gets right up behind Johan de Jager. They are feeling the pressure now, and those 2 are now starting to separate themselves from Dean and Deacon as these 2 battle it out. But I think Kyle is the one that's causing. Oh, someone spun out! Someone spun out in the back. They saw cars spinning out. One of the yellow cars. Just gotta have a look and see who that is. That looks like Donkey. That looks like RTA Donkey over there. That's Stefan Wessels. Stefan Wessels has spun out and now falling all the way back. All the way back. David purchased there in 12th position in the green car. Stefan,
that was that
S&P Pro, Stefan Mock, that went round there.
Yeah, that was that battle that we were with earlier, if you remember. Then they were starting to swap paint.
No.
So it looks like we've missed some good action there. So KLM Pace has dropped down to 8th place. If you remember, we had Stephen Mocker, who was sitting in the middle in there with the yellow car. That's now no more. So the RTA teammates have got some breathing space finally. But it's quite interesting because we saw that split pack up front where it seems like RTA and DMR are having a go for 1st and 2nd, and the same zapping with 3rd and 4th. It's like definitely going to be quite interesting to see how this works out. I think the idea is for Carl to get into 3rd place, and then you might very well see Deaky start to slow things up to give Carl a chance to have a go at Dino. So yeah, a lot can still happen, and I guarantee you will happen with 20 minutes to go as we see Carl getting right onto the back of Jean de Jager again. Brilliant. And look at that, he's making it quite clear that he's there, running up the inside.
It's down the inside that goes through it.
Outside.
He's going to be the outside for the next corner. That is correct. He's going to get forced out to the outside for the next corner, and beautiful driving there. That is absolutely good defending there from our 3rd place man. Unbelievable stuff there. That's Johan de Jager in 3rd position, doing a fantastic job of defensive driving at its finest.
it's also quite incredible to just have a look at the respect, you know, because I mean, you realize you are dealing with the top guys, the pros here, but it is so difficult. I mean, this weekend chatting with Daniel Rowe and Keegan Masters, who you know are big into the sim racing now as well, and they were just saying, you know, if you can learn to go door to door in sim racing, you've nailed it. It's so much easier in real racing to judge that space and to have that feel. But in sim racing, it's really hard. And I think that's for me what's so amazing to see is that like these guys are literally on a knife's edge here. They're sitting and playing in that space. You in your living room, I'm in mine, and you kind of in your bubble. So massive respect and skill set being shown here.
Yeah, it's exceptionally difficult. And the thing is, with real life racing, it's actually relatively easy because all your senses are working to let you know. Oh no!
We've got Safa going into the pits.
I thought that was a bit of a mistake there.
Well, this is. So he's going for a tire change. So that's what I said. He was making that gamble, and like he said, he reckons the last few moments, the tires are really going to go off. So he's obviously putting on the extra 4 seconds he reckons it's going to take to change tyres. And it looks like Kalen Pace is doing a stop with no tyre change. So it'll be interesting to see if he's going to actually jump Kyle Oosthuizen in the pit stop. Might very well happen.
So the first of the pit stops now happening, and this is really going to change things up. I think the big change might come in the front of the pack between Dino, DKP, and third place position man over there, Juan de Jager. These three guys still together as Leap comes out of the pit lane there. That is Corne Esterhuizen, makes his way out of the pit lane and down the hill for the first time after his pit stop. Some of the guys opting for tires and fuel, some of the guys opting for just fuel. And this will be the gamble, I think, where we're not quite sure what's going to happen after this. Sure, these guys would have tested it, but you know, in a real live situation, things change.
Well, listen, I feel sorry for Deacon at the moment because he's kind of lost Kyle, who was putting massive amounts of pressure on Juan. So at the moment, Kyle's gone. He's done his fuel stop, so guaranteed that Dean and Juan are going to work together here to kind of gang up on Deacon. So this is very, very interesting. But I'm expecting to see them come in for pit stops pretty soon as well. And there we go, on cue. So the teammates are kind of... Yeah, I think they're going to try and work on backing each other up here. So Carl's obviously hoping to put in some really good laps after his pit stop, and they can obviously kind of hopefully try and get the undercut done here, which is definitely what Carl was trying to do. I think he probably felt he had the pace and was being held up by Juan. So only a pit stop will tell us that. So let's see when our top two now decide to pit, but definitely some good team strategy going on here.
Well, Dino certainly has always had the pace, and now he's in the lead. Safa's out of the pit lane there, and the previous standings were Deacon first, Dean second, Juan third, and Kyle fourth. And once the dust settles, we'll get a closer look and see what exactly that's going to look like. Currently, Dino is out in first position. DKP has come back into second place, so DKP is now back in second place after his pit stop.
That can't be right.
Yeah.
Well, Dean hasn't stopped yet.
Yeah, Dean hasn't stopped yet.
Okay.
Yeah, Dean hasn't stopped yet. Maybe the other guys have all stopped. It does say 19 seconds. Maybe the classification hasn't kicked in yet, but we'll see shortly what happens.
That's probably right then, because Dino hasn't stopped. But I'm just trying to see. So Juan hasn't pitted either, or has he?
No, he has.
Jean did.
He has. Okay, so Jean obviously pitted to kind of cover off what Carl was trying to do and jump him in the pit stop. So that hasn't quite played out as Carl would have wanted.
Dino's in the pits. So Dino's in the pits. Kyle's down quite a fair way behind. The guys come out of the pit lane ready for action. They are. Dino
tires
into the pits. Tires as well. Into first gear goes.
He's not changing. They'll show the animation if he changed.
Okay, he's not changing tires, just fuel. The team now filling up there. They got the little can over there. And off he goes. That was a quick pit stop. Through the gates over here. Very tight and narrow gates. As we go into the first corner, we're going to wait to see what happens. DKP in second position. Dino jumped him into first place. So Dino has the advantage now. DKP is going to be absolutely shattered with that. He's 1 second down, and after all of that hard work for the first 20 odd minutes of racing, we now got 15 minutes left with DKP in second, Dino in first, Juan de Jager is still in third, and Kyle Oosthuizen in fourth place as earlier on.
So can we see who's actually changed tyres? Do we know, Stephen?
No. Well, normally you'd see the wear on the tires, but I don't think there's enough to actually notice.
So this
Well, there's
is
a bit of tyre wear there, so
Yeah.
that person hasn't changed. We're on board there
Correct,
with
that's
who-
DK.
Well,
who's
that's
the
Dean. I
Sean.
think Dean did change.
No, there's tyre wear there for sure.
But let's check first place because I'd like to see how Deacon's looking because he definitely didn't change. And
Yeah,
that
he
was-
says wear there as well, so they didn't change by the looks of things.
Interestingly enough, if I was watching the fuel there, Dino's got less fuel than DK, which is quite interesting. Either Dino might have short fueled a little bit to make sure he got out ahead,
Yeah.
or DK in our last two GTSA races, the 2 races ago he underfueled, so the last race he overfueled quite a bit, so maybe he's just overfueled again and that cost him the lead.
Jean de Jager now in 3rd position. And also similar wear. I don't really see much difference in the wear there. Stephen,
Watch
can you
DK.
tell us?
DK's looking really quick though, eh? Oh, that's a
Cutting
great...
back.
I mean, yeah, that was actually well done. Have a look at this. He's actually really made Dean have to think about this. So Dean's gone defensive already. So definitely Deacon's got a good drive out of this corner. You'll have a
Out of
shot
it
at this.
He's got a
Surtees is going to be a look up the inside possibly.
Oh man, I was really impressed where he was able to put his car and how quickly he's closed that gap all over the back of him as they head onto the long back straight now. So this is quite interesting. Yeah.
The pictures on DKP now, currently in 2nd position. That's Deacon in 2nd position at the moment, and he's piling on the pressure onto Dean O'Kay. Dean O'Kay, our previous winner, 2-time winner, as we now head into round 3 and the last 13 minutes of round 3 in the fantastic 300 SCL 6.8 AMG, the first of the AMGs, 422 horsepower these guys trying to put down, and with a little tire wear in the front there, which could be the case. This is going to be one heck of a race as we wind down towards the last 10 minutes. They're making their way through the final left-hander now. Then just after this, they'll go into the right-hander onto the main straight. Down the bottom section there, runs wide in the front there, and that slowed him down quite a bit. Look at Deacon now catching up to Dean, catching up all the way and right behind him, and we know that he's good into Druids. This could be the moment right here, Marius.
Well, Ernest, I was going to suggest that something must have happened on the previous lap because he was way back was Deacon and closed right up. And now we've seen the exact same thing happen again. So it definitely looks like Deacon's got that back section of the track really well lined up because he closes that gap right down. Whereas when you have a look on the big straight, it seems like Dean's got better drive out of Surtees and seems to open up that gap again. So very interesting. It's a really nice battle watching that we see unfolding here. And I mean, tire wear on the front, you can imagine you've got a 6.3 litre beast of an engine sitting over the front. You're trying to get this car to road. So understeer is obviously going to be pushing nose big time. And then you've got the fat horse. Look at this. Wow, it's another good battle. Safa having a good go.
Jean and Carl battling out. Team battles taking place here, Marius, and he manages to hold it ever so slightly. Jean and Kyle battling out. Deacon and Dean also doing the same color, same livery, same car. The Mercedes-Benz, of course, an iconic car. And these guys muscling this V8 muscle car around the circuit in spectacular fashion. And now as we head into the 11-minute mark, these guys are holding nothing back here. I think they're going for the win, all of them. And that's what we came to see today, Marius. We came to see some racing, and these guys have delivered it.
No, listen, this is brilliant, and I'm loving how, listen, like if you look in the rearview mirror, you're never going to miss this car, are you? But Carl making very sure, showing a nose all the time, so that you know that I'm there, but and I've got intentions to get past. But I think this is now settled down. We're going to see 2 separate battles for the win and a battle for the final podium position, because our first and second guys have really opened up quite a healthy lead, and that seemed to have happened at the fuel stop. So maybe there was a case of putting in too much fuel, as Stephen was suggesting. For some of them may be under fueling. Well, only time is going to tell, isn't it? But there's certainly after that fuel stop, after the first round of pit stops, there was a big change up.
Yeah, we've got some comments here in the YouTube chat. The guys are enjoying the race. We've got Llewellyn Phillies in the crowd over there. He's one of the racers. He said he bombed out, unfortunately, due to connectivity issues. Pity about that. Goniwa and Alwyn also commenting in the YouTube feed. Keep them coming, guys. We appreciate it. Ricky Purchase supporting Damien Purchase for the first time in the pro division is Damien. So well done to him for making it through. But we go back to the top 2 and 3 and 4, and the order stays the same, but the racing is hot, and these guys are not happy with the current order, that's for sure.
Yeah, listen, I mean, we knew it wasn't a great track for overtaking, especially when you are in boats. But the racing action, listen, you don't need to see any passes, just to see guys going bumper to bumper for 40 odd minutes. It's just unbelievable, and I think they're going to be really exhausted after this. It's a good thing that you know, the in game kind of takes away the lack of power steering. You know, otherwise these guys would be pushing big beads and be sitting with proper arm pump. You know,
I had a wrist issue when I took part in the 2015 endurance race in a car with the power steering. And I tell you what, by the time we got to the second half of that race, my arms were shattered. It's those type of things that unfortunately you can't simulate. But these guys, as far as the racing goes, as far as sticking it to each other for 40 minutes, I mean, that's as real as it gets right there. As he goes down the inside.
He's going up the inside.
He's got a downward distance down the inside. He might have the... Oh, he does it all the way through. Fantastic move there, Marius. Kyle Oosthuizen goes into third place. And now the chase for second is on.
Stephen, I quite like that, because I think it's so easy. Oh, he's coming back at him. Have a look. Oh, yeah, he showed his nose. But Stephen, I think it's so easy in that case. You would watch that in Formula One. Now, what would the driver have done if he was Carl? He would have actually just pushed his car wide and run the competitor off the circuit. But it really looked like a good, clean overtake, where Carl certainly did leave a lot of space for Juan.
Well, Carl's he's actually the South African team leader for RTA, and RTA's joined with a bunch of French racers, and they take part in GT Fusion, which is Europe's biggest GT sport or Gran Turismo competition. And their racing rules are very strict. So if you watch some of Carl's streams, you'll see if he had a slight nudge on the guy this weekend, but the guy spun it after that and had engine damage. So Carl actually stopped on the start-finish line and waited for the guy to pit and repair his car, dropping all the way from, I think,
awesome,
4th to 13th.
That would be easy to do.
Yeah, it was a very small little tap. They were racing at Le Mans.
Oh, that's a long circuit as well. If you get an engine damage on that circuit, you're going to feel it.
Oh, but that's...
Yeah, which is where Carl ended up waiting and feeling the guy. He basically went off at the end of the back Molzon straight, and when he was coming back on, his front clipped the back of the other guy, and the other guy spun from that. But because he entered,
I love hearing stories like this.
Well, we're looking further down the order now as we go to 10th place. That is Ian Bergstedt. They're in 10th place, getting a little bit of hassle there from Damien Purchase in the big green car. Damien Purchase now running 11th position, and
Nice.
way up, nicely done from him. He's on the circuit, he's racing with the big boys, and that's exactly what he said he wanted to do. Of course, Damien Purchase runs a company in Cape Town called ATM Chip Tuning. I myself have used them personally, so he's a good guy. He's a good business owner, honest guy. He loves racing, loves motorsport, and now he's trying his hand at Gran Turismo, and this is quite a recent move from him. So it's nice to see him in the top division, the premier division of Gran Turismo Sport in South Africa, as we go on board with 4th place man now. That's Juan de Jager, who was in 3rd place early on, but got pipped by Kyle Oosthuizen. DKP and Dino now.
We've got a pass. Oh, I thought, okay, Dino's under real pressure here, because we saw that pass happen in the pit stops. But Deacon really has got pace, and we've seen that on this back end of the circuit. He definitely seems to be
look at that. Marius, he's down the inside. He's down the inside. I think he's got it. I think he's got it.
Oh, brilliant.
Oh, the undercut.
Going for the undercut.
Oh,
this is, but he's got the left hander. Oh, well, there is so much power coming down here. This is absolutely, man, how was that little tank slapper he was getting?
422 horsepower, does not want to go onto the ground. He got the overtake, but look at that, the racecraft demonstrated there by Dino.
Yeah,
Dino ran
brilliant.
all the way wide into the first corner over there, all the way wide, and we go on board now with Diki. This is Diki in second position. Dino now in first place. Gets it down the inside here. He's going to try and have a look down the big long straight over here. And I think he's got some advantage down here, but just not able to capitalize. This is a very difficult spot to overtake, but he is all over the back of the car.
Dean going super defensive. Dino's just putting his car in the right place. That's amazing to watch. But this is actually unbelievable racing. And have a look. Carl has now really got rid of Jean, and he has got his eyes set to try and help his teammate and turn this into a three-way battle. And with 5 minutes to go, and these two having a good go at each other, I think Carl's probably got a good chance of getting closed up here and joining in on the fun. But unbelievable racecraft. You picked up on it. I think Dean realizing, okay, he's having to go up the inside, braked a little bit earlier, and then gave him a chance to obviously get the undercut and take that position
What
back.
a risky move, eh? What a risky move, but somehow managing to pull it off. It's a really good racecraft. And even just the way he goes defensive and then goes back onto his line, it's so good.
Big time. Yeah, it's big time, because, I mean, that's also, we heard, you're not going to be bumping into the guys here. And that story that Stephen was telling us about Carl and giving that back, I mean, that is just gentleman racing, which is flipping awesome. And that's what I've been impressed with, because we have not, in 3 rounds, seen any carnage. Seen any guys taking each other out, Ernest. Very different to the other one, eh?
Well,
I can tell you guys, it's not easy to not bump when you're following that close. The guys are making it look easy here, even with a tricky car like this. But even in the easier cars, following that close for this long, without a nudge or contact.
It's amazing to watch, and I mean, our Pro Series guys, fantastic evolution we've seen with the ACC Pro Series guys. But the first season, certainly there was a lot of bumping, a lot of touching, a lot of carnage. We're not seeing any of that here, and a lot of these guys, I think, have had a few seasons of racing without the Pro Series backing. But now that they're here on the big stage, it looks like these guys are doing just fine. Especially the front 2 runners of here, Dino, and
he's proper
stuff. And coming up real close and personal there as we head into the final few laps. There'll probably be about 2 or 3 more laps to go. And look at that, the light literally touching the bumper. He runs wide. Dean runs wide there. Deacon now down the outside. They're going around the outside now of the last corner. He's got it.
What a move. But I mean, all Dean did there, that pressure, he just ran a little bit wide. You saw the puff of dirt, but have a look at Carl. Carl is right on the back. So this battle has brought Carl back into contention. But what a move from Deacon. That was unbelievable. And that was just, I mean, literally, he has been harassing Dean. And we've been saying how well Dean's been doing, going defensive, blocking up. But that little mistake, running a bit wide, has given Deacon the opportunity. And Carl is now all over the back of him. This could be an RTA 1-2 still watch with 3 minutes to go. I'm loving this.
I think Dean is having some tire issues over there. I think Dean.
I don't know about tire. I think he might have underfueled. I don't know if we can see some onboards with the top 3, but it could just be the long race and that slight error. But the way Carl's caught them, I think maybe Dino's put a little bit less fuel in to get ahead, and he's been trying to save it, which has let Diki catch up and Carl catch up.
So Kyle all over the back of Dean now. Dean getting all sorts of pressure from the RTA guys, and this is not what he signed up for. He's got, let's see.
This is Safa's fuel's just gone into the red.
He's got no fuel.
He's flashing already.
He's flashing already, and will he make it to the end though? He's probably trying to conserve fuel at this stage, you know.
Did you check the rear view footage of Carl? I mean, that car was front sideways. It's just unbelievable, and he's having a go. He's got him, so it must be fuel.
I think he's going to sacrifice that position to try and coast through to the finish. That might be the situation. So we've got a RTA 1-2 easily done as we make our way into the last 1.5 minutes of racing. RTA 1-2. Oh, he's slowing down. Dean's slowing down. I think Dean's slowing down all the way. I don't know if he's going to make it through to the finish.
I think he's going to be under some big problems here. So you're right, Stephen. You actually called this because I was wondering how did he jump him in that pit stop, and purely just putting in a little less fuel. So he'll be moving that car from side to side now, shaking those fumes around. And let's be honest, this is a 6.3 liter V8 guzzling pig.
That's not exactly.
There's no economy run that's going to be happening here. No lift and coast.
What are you thinking?
This possibly will be his last lap though if he does it in slower than a 137. because that's how much time was left when he crossed the line.
Yeah.
So if he's trying to
So,
maintain third position, he's got his teammates right behind him.
He's
Maybe
probably on the comms to him, just telling them, hey, let's just slow down and finish on this lap because I can't make another one.
Yeah.
And your mate Damien's just disconnected.
Oh no,
No.
Damien has left the room. Unfortunately, Damien's out of the race. He's going to be disappointed with that. I wonder what happened.
Maybe he ran out of fuel as well.
Or his
Oh
internet.
my goodness. Oh my goodness. Look at this. Getting pressure now is Dino from TSM. That's Juan de Jager now back in the mix. Is Juan going to take the win? Will they have one more lap though? This is going to be interesting to see. If there's another lap, this could mean all sorts of problems for Dino in third position there. They're now going towards the start-finish straight.
I think Deaky will get through. I don't know about Carl.
Deaky's gonna be the one that causes an extra lap. I think that's another lap.
No,
That's
slow down on the line.
finished.
Oh, he did very, very well. But now you see,
So close.
that's the competitive racer in me. I would have pushed and crossed that line because that would have dragged them all in for another lap. Correct?
Yes.
Not
Exactly.
with Gran Turismo. They would have just finished on after the first time they crossed the line after the lap runs up.
Oh,
Time of,
We've got
that's
to finish
crazy.
up. We've got to finish up, but we'll be right back after the break. There's lots to talk about, guys. We'll see you after this. And we are back with the results, and look at the tables. The tables have turned. DKP in first position. First win of the season, and I'm sure he's going to be absolutely ecstatic with that. Is that Lewis Hamilton watching on from the left-hand side there? It looks like
Yep.
it. In second
Deaky
position.
runs with the Lewis Hamilton replica helmet.
Okay, there we go. So in second position, RTA Safa, that is Kyle Oosthuizen in second position. Marius, looks like your friend Kyle Oosthuizen, all that information he gave you, it looks like it paid off. He gets second position, the top on a spot on the podium. But in third place is the man we were watching, Dino, once the leader of the race and championship leader, now in third place after the fuel debacle we saw earlier on. Wow, it's great to see things shuffle out like this. And we were just talking, Marius, off air, that this was some really exciting racing.
Yeah,
Exciting-
definitely. And there was some good
racing.
clean
Indeed.
passing.
What was that, Stephen?
And I was just saying some good clean passing on such a hard track. Safa made some really good moves.
Yeah,
I think
some
on
incredible
JDJ
moves.
and Taylor.
And we saw some racing all the way down the standings as well. Taylor making it into fourth place eventually. Jean de Jager, unfortunately, in fourth position there after running really well earlier on. But John de Jager was in third place. He's going to be happy with fourth, I'm sure. Now starting to mix it up with the big boys. KLM Pace in sixth position. But wow, what a race it was. Unfortunately, a couple of disconnections there as well. But I think the man of the moment and a deserved win there after a fantastic drive and some frankly amazing overtaking. DKP, or better known as Deacon Peterson, gets first place in the 300 SCL 6.8 AMG Mercedes, the first of the AMGs, and a first win there for RTA DKP Deacon Peterson. Well done to him as we wait for the championship standings to come up. And no championship standings at the moment, but stay tuned for those championship standings later on as we tally up the wins and losses for some of these guys. But what an incredible day's racing. Stephen, your thoughts on what happened here just before we go to the next round?
Yeah, well, my driver of the day I'll give to RTA Safa, starting in fifth and making it up to second. Dino won't be too disappointed about coming third. He still should be fairly strong in the championship. And yeah, move on to the next round.
Well, speaking of next round,
I'm back.
Oh, we're back.
Oh, we found
I ran out of fuel, internet fuel. I got kicked off, so I'm back. Can I have my driver of the day?
Please.
I thought Deaky was immense.
Yeah.
I thought Hilly showed some great racecraft. I know he moved from car to car, as you said, even from to second. But yeah, I just thought he deserved that when he put in 2 overtakes on track, which for me was really impressive and showed some good racecraft. So that was a cracker race, and they go to
in an environment where overtaking is impossible.
100%. I'm looking forward to Brazil, Interlagos. That's going to be that's going to be special.
Yeah, we've got the next round coming up on screen now. Of course, the Grand Prix circuit, Interlagos, a fantastic circuit. And again, Marius, I ask you this question every time. Do you approve? Yeah, Marius unfortunately disconnected there.
No, I'm back.
Oh, back again.
It's just irritating, man. I mean, Wi-Fi's for the dogs. I need fiber. Anyway, yeah, back on my. I'm paired to my phone. That's a lot safer. A lot safer.
Interlagos circuit in Brazil, Formula One circuit, and I mean something that I always ask you this question, Marius. Do you approve?
No. But this is a proper track. And I mean, we know on Gran Turismo Sport, there's some real benefit for drafting. And there is a lot of that's going to happen here. And what I love about it is you've got a pretty slow corner with a long climb into a long straight and then a very heavy braking point. So for me, that is just perfect all day for overtaking. So you had the opposite with Brands Hatch, where you literally have to muscle a move. Here in Interlagos, you can really set up a move. So for me, I'm looking forward to seeing how the guys go here. I don't know the car, because obviously it's a Gran Turismo Vision concept for AMG, for Merc to sit and play with and design. I don't know, Stephen, if you've driven it, what's it like to drive? But the track's tricky.
Yeah, it's quicker than the GT3 cars that we have in Gran Turismo. I've only done 1 or 2 short little test drives with it on the arcade version of the game, so I don't really have much to compare, but it will be a quick car and a proper racing car, lots of downforce. So like you're saying, a drag slipstream race up the hill, turn 1 into the center S's, we should see some overtaking, and then the guys cutting back down the second part after the S's to go in. So lots of overtaking moves.
Yeah, and that's what we want to see. We want to see overtaking like we saw today. That was an incredibly exciting race, because I wouldn't say because of the lack of overtaking, but because of the difficulty of overtaking. And then when the overtake does happen, it's so exciting. But it's also nice to see the guys battling it out on a circuit such as this. Exceptionally long straight sections here. And of course, the center S's over there to mix things up as well. A very long circuit, a Formula One circuit, formerly quite bumpy, but now has been smoothened out. for the car that they're going to be driving, the Vision, I think it's going to be an exceptionally fast race. It's going to be an exceptionally fast race day. And the guys are once again going to provide plenty thrills and spills, I'm sure. But before we go, Marius, any words from you on what you saw today and what can be expected going into round 4?
Yeah, I just love it. I mean, I know we've got the usual suspects that we keep commenting on, and they're the guys running up at the front. But I'm just enjoying seeing the different skill sets because they're getting to drive very, very different cars. So, you know, yeah, you're going to a classic, a car that really established AMG as a performance brand back in 1971, now moving into a futuristic car, GT3 type spec, and again you're going to require a different set of skills here. What I'm looking forward to with Interlagos, we speak about the 8 and Senna, the Senna S's, but really tricky because you arrive there at high speed. It's also so easy to lock up under braking, very tricky corners to negotiate. So yeah, I think we're going to be treated to another really special race, but I really enjoyed this one. This, for me, I can understand why there's such a love for historic racing. You know, you're going to have a look at the Formula One stuff, and usually it just ends up being a ball fest. Whereas if they just kind of went old school and made cars that you can follow and you can go door to door with, you're always guaranteed of good racing. So I just think the drivers put together an epic show. I'm just really impressed how they can go door to door and not trip over each other. There's a lot of respect and a lot of skill that's showcased every time we go racing with GT Sport.
Steven, any final thoughts from you before we say goodbye?
Just it was a great race to watch. Thanks for having me again, and I think we're going to have as good or better next time. We know Dino's going to want to come back and get on top, and it's a track that most of us are very familiar with, so the guys will be on it.
I'm sure they will be on it. And ladies and gentlemen, that will be it from us for now. Join us again for round 4 at Interlagos, where Dean, Deacon, Kyle, and the rest of the boys and girls will be battling it out in the 430 kilowatt Mercedes-Benz. Of course, this event is powered by Mercedes-Benz. And in the commentary booth here, we have maybe not as much as 430 kilowatts, but we try and keep it as powerful as possible here. ATK and Mercedes-Benz powering this event. And also Motorsport South Africa, Kailawi 9 Hour, and Coach Dave Academy. My name is Ernest Page, joined by Marius and Steven. We'll see you guys at Interlagos.